KURINJI Senior Secondary School, CBSE, Namakkal.
Successful result producing school in state every year.
Administered by the Board of Directors with over 35 years of experience in the teaching field.
Special attention on art, craft, music, dance, silambam, yoga, skating and karate.
Focus on Hindi Sabha and Spell Bee Olympiad exams.
Smart class for effective and innovative learning and well-furnished library.
Solitary importance on sports and games in state and national level.
WhatsApp facilities to know activities of students and school inside the campus.
NEET, JEE, IIT coaching experts from Rajasthan and Andhra Pradesh along with our effective teachers.
Admission registration for classes LKG to +2.
KURINJI Educational Institution, Kavetipatti, Namakkal. Admission in progress. CBSE, KG to 12, contact 9025895176. Metric 6 to 12, contact 9344567484. For online admission, log on to www.kurinjischoolnkl.in.
Students, now in this video we are discussing continuation information. How plants transport the water molecules to the aerial parts. So in previous video, what is the information we have seen? So how root pressure helps in carrying of water molecules to the aerial parts we have seen. So but if the root pressure is not sufficient or the root pressure is not enough to transport the water molecules. Why? Because the root pressure is a mode of push. So means through the root pressure, so definitely water molecules translocation process takes place, but up to a short distances. Okay, means suppose if you take a very small little plants, if you take there for the transport of water and minerals, so root pressure is enough. Why? Because in previous video we have seen one experiment also we have conducted. What it is? So by taking off a soft stem, by cutting that one, so we have observed the exudates which are coming out from the cutting part of the stem. So means in this particular case, what is the point we are highlighting? So root pressure is alone not enough. Root pressure alone is not enough for the transport of water molecules to the aerial parts in tall plants. Okay, now transpiration pull. Now in the transpiration pull, what is the information now we are going to discuss is, despite the absence of hot or circulatory system in the plants, the upward flow of water through the xylem in plants can achieve fairly high rates up to 15 meters per hour. Point, did you understand? So means like human beings or like animals. So how animals or human beings are having of a circulatory system, unlike them, the plants not possessing or the plants not having of so here the plants are not having of heart as well as a circulatory system in the plants. So thereby here, instead of absence of a heart, even instead of absence of a circulatory system in the plants, so even though water molecules which are moving to the high rates or which are translocated to the high rates, so that is also high rates up to 15 meters per hour. So then, even though heart is not there as well as a circulatory system is absent in the plants, then how water molecules are conveying or how water molecules or translocation taking place to the aerial parts, and moreover per hour how 15 meters how water is translocation process taking place, means because of the transpiration pull. So now most researchers agreed that the water is mainly pulled. Okay, now the water is mainly pulled through the plant, and that driving force for this process is transpiration from the leaf. Means here water molecules, listen carefully, water molecules which are pulled from the soil or pulled by the plant from the soil. So here the what is a driving force means here you can find out the transpiration is a driving force. That particular driving force, it is coming from the leaf. Means listen carefully one more time. Here the driving force is transpiration. So that but why is because here as per the previous information concerned, so evaporation process or the transpiration process which occurs in the leaves, isn't it? So when the water molecules are going to be evaporated from the leaves in aerial parts, automatically some kind of undifferentiated or unbreakable column which is formed between the roots, stems and roots, leaves, stem and roots. So thereby what is happening, one kind of unbreakable column formation takes place. So thereby water continuously pulled from the ground. Suppose if you see there in villages some kind of bore will be there. Suppose if you operate that one, water comes out, isn't it? Means here hand pump madri. Suppose when we are using the hand pump at the time, so water will come out from the soil. So suppose if that particular process, if you are not operating at the time, water will not come from the ground. So likewise here also, when the transpiration process taking place, so definitely water molecules pulled out from the ground. Okay, and once the water molecules comes out from the ground, automatically will be reached to the leaves. Means here mainly the transpiration driving force which helps in the pulling of water. That's why what is the side heading we kept? Transpiration pull. Next one, this is refers to as the cohesion tension transpiration pull model. So that's why here when the transpiration is acting as a driving force for the pulling of water molecules. So here the scientist which was given or they were explaining about the cohesion tension transpiration pull model of water transport. Okay, now the water is transient in plants. So means it is unstable as well as. So suppose even though if water molecules or enters into the plant, it will not be stable, unstable. Why? Because why sir unstable structure change sir means not structure, it is not chemistry. Means why it is unstable means definitely water will be evaporated. Means suppose what are the water molecules which are entered into the plants, it will not be constant in the plants. So definitely so it must be involved in the metabolic activities. So either metabolic activities or it must be involved or it must be evaporated by the process of transpiration. So thereby here what is the point? Water is a transient in plants. Less than 1% of water reaching the leaves is used in the photosynthesis. So means here suppose if 100% of water is moving to the xylem and reaching to the leaf, means there just less than 1% of water only reaching to the leaves, and that particular one is involved in the photosynthesis and plant growth. So thereby here what is the point? Here less than 1% of water only involving in the process of photosynthesis as well as plant growth. So thereby here most of it is lost through the stomata in the leaves. So means here remaining 99% of the water is losing from the stomata in the leaves. So next one, this water loss is known as transpiration. So when the water molecules are going to be evaporated, through the stomata, so such particular phenomenon we are calling as transpiration. Transpiration is nothing but or it is a phenomenon in which water molecules are lost or water is going to be evaporated from the stomata of the leaves. So such particular phenomenon we are calling as a transpiration. Okay, now let us start to discuss the transpiration process. Now transpiration is a evaporative loss of water by the plants. So this one till now we have seen that only. Next one, it occurs mainly through the stomata. Stomata singular, stoma. Next one, besides the loss of water vapor in the transpiration, exchange of gases and exchange of carbon dioxide in the leaf also occurs through the stomata. So means here we may get one doubt, sir, stomata is there in the plant leaf, no, plant leaf. Then what are the main important works, sir, that God has assigned to the stomata? Means there not only the process of transpiration, so and one more, exchange of gases also. Exchange of gases means, so here the two types of gases are there. One is oxygen as well as carbon dioxide, which are required. So means here the oxygen is required for the process of respiration, and the carbon dioxide is required for the process of photosynthesis. Likewise here exchange of gases concerned also, or exchange of gases process also taking place, or that takes place through the stomata. Means here two important main functions which are carried, or which occurs in the stomata. One is transpiration and second one is exchange of gases. Next one, normally stomata are the open in the daytime. So generally if daytime, suppose if it is daytime means, so stomata opens in the daytime and close during night time. So means stomata is opened in the daytime and closed in the night time. So here all kind of plants stomata will be like that only. Yes sir, means some exceptions are there. In neat explanation I will give you that information. Next one, the immediate cause of the opening and closing of the stomata is a change in the turgidity of the guard cells. So one more time, if you read this statement, no, you will understand very clearly. So here what is the information the author giving us is the opening and closing of the stomata. Opening and closing of the stomata mainly depends on the turgidity of the guard cells. Mainly depends on the turgidity of the guard cells. Sir, turgidity one more time, easily I will tell you, listen carefully. Suppose if we have water, if we are having water into our body, automatically after some time, no, so our stomach will be bulged. So one more example I will take. Suppose if you blow air into the balloon, so the walls of the balloon that will be expanded gradually. My point you understood, means likewise here also when water molecules entry, or when the water molecules are entered into the plant cells, plant cells absorbs the water molecule, and because of the entry of water, normal size or the shape of the cell is expanded. Means if suppose if the cells of the plant cells completely filled with water, so that particular plant we can be say, or that particular plant cell we can be taken as turgid cell. That particular phenomenon we are calling as turgidity. If a point you understood, turgidity is nothing but when the plant cell completely filled with water, it shows the turgidity, or that particular cell we are calling as turgid cell. So now here one point, the immediate cause of opening and closing of stomata mainly depends on the turgidity of the guard cells. Suppose here if the guard cells completely filled with water means, so they at the time we will observe the opening of guard cells. Suppose if within the turgid cell, or within the guard cell, or in the guard cells, suppose if water is not there, at the time, no, it leads to the closing of guard cells. My dear students, one more time listen. Suppose if a guard cells are going to be opened means, what we have to understand? So there water molecules are abundant, means the guard cells are completely filled with water. Suppose if the guard cells are going to be closed means there is a very little quantities of water, means comparison, so very easily we can find out. Next one, now here some more information that we are going to discuss regarding the structure of guard cells, so how it will be. Now let us see. Now the inner wall of each guard cell, towards the pore. Once you see the diagram, so here the diagram so what is here once you see down, one diagram is there, no, so exactly at spotlight this is pore, hole, or what it is, no, stomatal aperture. Now The inner walls of the guard cell, the towards the pore or the stomatal aperture is thick and elastic. So here the guard cell wall or guard cells wall is it is a very thick and elastic. And when the turgidity increases, here even it is a NEET examination point of view also important. Inner wall it has a thick nature as well as elastic nature, don't forget. Okay, and that is also inner wall means that is situated towards the stomatal aperture here. Next one, when turgidity increases within the two guard cells flanking each stomata aperture pore, the thin outer walls are bulged out and the force of the inner walls into the crescent shape. Means here what is the thing? When we, guard cells are completely filled with water, that particular statement only we are calling as a turgidity. So when the turgidity is increases, turgidity is increased means what is the point we can understand? The guard cells are fully filled with water. At the time what is happening? Already now only we seen inner walls are having elastic nature. So thereby here when the water molecules are continuously entered into the guard cells, so these guard cells will be bulged like balloons. So thereby here thereby what is happening now? So thereby chance is there to open the stomatal aperture. So means when the particular balloon madri, how these guard cells are going to be opened, at the time we will observe the formation of a stomatal pore or the size of the stomatal pore is increased. Okay, and the thin outer walls are bulged out. Once you see there, here these thin outer walls are thin and bulged out. So force the inner walls into the crescent shape. So thereby, so how we have drawn one particular diagram now. So likewise, where you need stomatal pore formation or the stomatal aperture formation, we can observe. So later, next one is the opening of the stoma. The opening of stoma. Stoma means singular form of stomata. Stomata is plural and the stoma means singular. The opening form of the stoma is also aided. The opening form of the stoma is also aided due to the orientation of the microfibrils in the cells of the guard cells. Means here what is the point? One more we can discuss. The opening of the stomata is also mainly dependent on the orientation. Orientation means arrangement. Orientation of microfibrils in the cell guard cells. Means here the mainly opening and closing of stomata, it also depends on the arrangement of microfibrils. The opening and closing of the stomata, it also depends on the orientation of microfibrils which are there in the cell walls of the guard cells. Next one, cellulosic microfibrils. So here we have written microfibrils, no? Adi nothing but cellulose microfibrils are oriented radially. So this statement one or two times just you revise it. Why? Because so how they have given the statement in the textbook, no? Same statement, so without any changes, chances to ask in competitive examinations. So thereby once or twice revise it. What is a statement? Now the cellulose microfibrils are oriented radially rather than the longitudinally. One more time, cellulose microfibrils are oriented radially rather than longitudinally. So making it easier for the stomata opening or stoma opening. Next one, when the guard cells lose turgidity due to the water loss or the water stress, the elastic inner walls regain their original shape. So means here when the water loss conditions or water stress conditions at the time, so again guard cells comes to the original shape. Next one, the guard cells become flaccid and the stroma closes. So thereby here the guard cells become flaccid. So flaccid means ipo turgidity we see no turgid opposite flaccid. Okay, so turgid opposite flaccid. If turgid means when the god cell completely filled with water, turgid cell we are taking now. When in same wise, suppose when the god cell lost the water, god cell shows the flaccid stand condition. Easy only, no, flaccid is nothing but when water molecules or when the water content is very less in the plant cells, no, that particular plant cell shows the flaccid nature. You must try to save in your mind. So thereby finally stomata closes. Next one, usually the lower surface of the dorsiventral. So here these 4 lines. Now what is the information I am going to give you is, so suppose in case of dicotyledons where we will find out the more number of god cells, and in case of monocotyledons where we will find out the more number of god cells. So that is the information. And what are the factors? What are the factors mainly playing an important role in the transpiration process also we will see. Now usually the lower surface of dorsiventral leaf, dorsiventral leaf na I have written here dicot leaf. So why? Because so while discussing about the anatomy of flowering plants also we have seen. So what is the point we have seen? Usually the lower surface of dorsiventral leaf or dicot leaf has greater number of stomata, while in an isobilateral leaf, that is monocot leaf. Sometimes no. So suppose if they give dicot leaf, no, chance is there to remember that particular leaf. That's why sometimes no, indirectly chance is there to ask like this dorsiventral leaf. And instead of asking of monocot leaf, chance is there to ask as isobilateral leaf. Okay, means if you take a dorsiventral leaf, so where we can find out more number of stomatal members? In a lower surface. Likewise, if you take isobilateral leaf, monocot leaf, so where we can find out more number of stomata means on both sides equal. Where? In a monocot leaf. In a monocot leaf, no, on both surfaces. Upper epidermis, lower epidermis is there, no, and upper epidermis mele as well as lower epidermis mele equal number of stomata irukku present. But in case of dicot leaf, no, we will observe the more number of stomata in the lower surface. So that is a point to be taken into our minds later. Next one, the transpiration is affected by several external factors. Okay, now one more time, the transpiration is affected by several external factors. So here the transpiration is affected by several external factors. So these external factors may be the temperature, light, humidity, wind speed. Likewise, there are different types of factors which plays an important role in the process of transpiration. So somewhat external factors are there. So what are those? Temperature, light, humidity, wind. Okay, so these entire information like related to the, so all these external factors. So definitely in a NEET examination coaching time up, so definitely, so we will give you while NEET coaching. So this is the information that we can study related to the transpiration pull. Okay, now here a few points to be discussed based on the diagrammatically. If you take the dicot, leaf there, the god cells shape is bean shaped. So this is bean shaped mother or kidney shaped mother is there, no? Next one, if you take monocotyledons, in a monocotyledon leaf, no, the god cells shape is dumbbell. Suppose in a gym we will see, no, dumbbell shaped structure. So means dumbbell shaped god cells we will observe in case of a monocotyledon leaf or monocot leaf, and bean shaped or the kidney shaped god cells we can be seen in dicot leaf. So this is an explanation to be given in a next video. So let us discuss the continuation concept in a next. Thank you and be safe at home and gain the knowledge. So try to be in a good position when compared to the others. Thank you.